There's been a lot of news and drama recently that concerns the cast of the Avengers movies and Marvel Studios. Just in case you're not up to date, a quick summary of the recent stuff that's happened is that basically every main cast member of the Avengers is demanding more money from Marvel Studios to act in the Avengers 2. There's been a lot of tension recently surrounding this money battle. You got two big things going up against each other, Marvel Studios and the cast of the Avengers, two things that are supposed to be working together, man. I actually didn't even know that the cast was really allowed to do that. I assumed that they were all under some sort of contract, but then I keep seeing stuff about Robert Downey Jr. allegedly leaving the role of Iron Man and then all this money stuff, and it's just crazy. I think this money feud that's been going on with Marvel recently is particularly interesting because of the power involved. On the one hand, you got Marvel freaking Studios, you know? And on the other hand, you got Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, and they're just battling. Allegedly, Robert Downey Jr. is the biggest offender in this cast versus studio thing. I saw an article somewhere that claimed that he was asking for $100 million to play Tony Stark in the Avengers 2. That is crazy. At this point in the game, it doesn't look like Marvel's having any of these complaints from the actors. They're basically threatening most of the main cast of the Avengers. They're saying, hey, listen, shut up, or we're just gonna fire and recast all of you. I think with most movie and TV franchises, that would be a pretty empty statement, but Marvel has done that before. But there's also this one tiny conflict that comes into play that I think makes this whole situation so much more interesting. And that's the simple fact that most of the main cast of the Avengers, at this point, kind of own their characters. In a figurative manner, at least. If you've seen any Pirates of the Caribbean movies, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Johnny Depp has been playing Captain Jack Sparrow in the Pirates franchise for more than 10 years now, and at this point, he is irreplaceable. Captain Jack is a really unique character, and Johnny Depp is a really unique actor and a really unique person, and they meet together in this really unique movie, and they just merge perfectly. In the past, many people have said that Johnny Depp was born to play Captain Jack Sparrow in the Pirates movies, and I agree. It's just one of those really rare instances where character and actor merge perfectly together, and it gets to the point where you could never ever picture someone else in that role, and that's why you'll never see a Pirates movie without Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow. This idea applies to the Avengers movies, especially with Iron Man. In 2008, we were all amazed by Robert Downey Jr.'s performance in Iron Man because he and Tony Stark were just born for each other. He just nails the character so perfectly, and he's been playing him for so long now that you can't picture anybody else playing Tony Stark, ever. So in regards to this whole Marvel versus actor money feud thing, it's gotta be a lot harder to say no to Robert Downey Jr. than, say, Edward Norton. The Incredible Hulk was released in 2008, about a month-ish after Iron Man, and Edward Norton's performance as Bruce Banner was significantly underwhelming in comparison with Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark. In The Incredible Hulk, Edward Norton's performance is pretty bland. He doesn't bring anything particularly interesting or cool to the character. So when he demanded a much bigger salary to be in the Avengers, it was much easier for Marvel to just say, okay, you're fired, we'll get Mark Ruffalo instead, and he'll be awesome. And nobody cared because no one really liked Edward Norton as Bruce Banner, but now you got Marvel Studios going up against Robert Downey Jr., a fan favorite, someone that people love to see as Tony Stark. So I guess you could say in regards to this situation that Marvel's dug themselves into a little bit of a hole by casting the absolute perfect people to play their characters. People love Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, they love Chris Evans as Captain America, they love Chris Hemsworth as Thor. You got all these really cool, awesome actors just owning these roles, and people love them, and they love to watch them own those roles. So I think it's pretty safe to say that in regards to this particular situation, this time, Marvel will cave. That is at least when it comes to some of the main cast. Who knows, you might see two new faces as Hawkeye and Black Widow by the time Avengers 2 rolls around. Also, another thing about the Tony Stark character that I don't think was really relevant to the video, but that I found interesting, is that Kevin Feige, who is the CEO of Marvel Studios, says that he wants to have the character of Tony Stark in Marvel Studios movies for like 20-25 years to come, and obviously they can't do Robert Downey Jr. with all of those, so it'll be interesting to see where that happens, so I'll see you in 20 years.